He was shot 19
times. And that's how I think they grabbed Rob for the murder, because it's overkill. It ain't seven.
In real time, the heat of the Chicago street gang battle between Drill City and Trap City led to the terrible murder of Bloodhound Lil Jeff, albeit dead and gone. Lil Jeff left behind some footage, as haunting as the life he lived from getting dropped on camera while chasing his op into their home to flashing his gun and threatening a random guy on the street. Let's not forget when bragged about how many bodies he dropped. I'm going to be you at 11, you going to be 8, and I'm a SC, you're dumb, terrifying. In this video, I will show you 5 disturbing final footage of Lil Jeff, but first have a look at how he was dumped on camera. They say the higher you go, the harder you fall. This is true of Lil Jeff's haunting last moment, which was taken on camera. The strangest thing was that Bloodhound Lil Jeff raps so much about dropping bodies and updates his body counts only to get downed on camera. Jeff's death is probably the most dramatic turn of events in the Chicago drill scene. The dude was literally caught doing his thing on the street. I remember one of Lil Jeff's lyrics where he said every time he sees an OP, he drops his mask and swings the door. Well, as it turned out, Lil Jeff never joked about a thing. He rapped about the most devastating event to have hit the Bloodhounds. Happened in the broad daylight of June 8th, 2024. On that day, Bloodhound Lil Jeff, Q50, and one other guy were caught standing on business in surveillance footage that was later released. Lil Jeff and his gang were seen leader literally swinging the door and jumping off the car to smoke a rival gang member in the heart of Trap City. In this footage, the people in the black SUV are Lil Jeff's homies. They dropped out of the car and started firing shots at a young man on South Road Avenue. If you look closely, you will see that while the car was parked, the squad sighted the target, and Lil Jeff quickly swung the door open and started letting out shots. The target, wearing bright yellow shorts, quickly ducks behind a car and eventually runs into the porch of a building while still being shot at by Lil Jeff. Hold up, I knew Chicago was a crazy place as soon as I saw Lil Jeff wearing a black Nike hoodie and gray Nike joggers chasing his target straight into their home where he met his end. Word on the street is that after Lil Jeff spotted this guy, he went all in chasing and shooting at him. For some reason, his homies did not go with him. They stood by their car while letting out shots at the gray car. As soon as Lil Jeff hit the target, he chased him right into the porch like it was in the movies. However, oblique tragedy was just about to unfold. The rapper and killer, who had fantasized about chasing an OP into their home numerous times in his music, finally fulfilled his fantasy, only that this was a one-time only experience for Lil Jeff. Someone from the house counterattacked Lil Jeff, sending him out head over heels with bullets to the ground, and there lying lifeless was the man called Bloodhound Lil Jeff. The word on the street was that Lil Jeff's shooter emptied the whole magazine on him. In the same video, Q50 and the other guy could be seen running to the porch trying to cover Lil Jeff, but the shooter rained hell that the two had to settle for finding a way out of the crossfire. It was reported that while Lil Jeff was on the ground, he got shot 19 times and over 58 spent casings were recovered from the crime scene. According to Spot News, initial reports suggest the shooting occurred on the 6600 block of South Rhodes Avenue in Chicago, Illinois. The victim, reportedly identified as Bloodhound Lil Jeff, was rushed to the hospital but died to his injuries. As soon as Lil Jeff's death entered social media, followers and co-workers started to submit memorials in reverence to the fallen monster. Lil SC89, a close associate of the Bloodhounds, posted a series of stories following the murder, mourning his friend. I love you, I'm going to be with you real soon, he wrote, adding, damn Britta, this she don't feel real. Another artist and video creator, AMF Visuals, posted a story as well with a picture of Bloodhound Lil Jeff and a heartbreak emoji. Both AMF Visuals and Lil Jeff produced a music video titled earlier this year, and I remember when I first heard that song, I liked it and I really vibed to it. It took me a while to realize that Jeff was rapping about a murder he committed, and it was the sound his victim made when he sent bullets into his body. However, as expected, fans of the drill culture and other users of the internet reacted to Lil Jeff's death in different ways. One comment quickly pointed out, the energy you put out always comes back to you. Another user added, trying to chase somebody into their own house off the street is the ultimate crash out move. Well, I bet Lil Jeff thought he was face to face with his fantasies, but take a look at this comment, which tried to compare Lil Jeff and King Vav. Given that most people have called them two of one, I feel like V represented Chicago more than Jeff, because yes, Jeff was a window into the streets of the modern-day Chicago wars, but V was more of what happens to most gang members in Chicago. V really went to prison for bodies and beat it, and was in the wars for like a decade straight. Furthermore, He began pretty early like most gang members' Vaughn narrative following Lil Jeff's terrible murder. Despite he was a guy with many enemies, rumor on the street stated that the shooter was Trap City Rob. But how did they get at this accusation? As soon as the news of Lil Jeff's death hit the street, the city of Chicago was startled by a series of trolling on the Reddit community, with most of the DSAs direct at the hood, allegedly responsible for sending Lil Jeff back to his maker to protect their own. Someone said Trap City is in danger forever now. While the trolling was ongoing, some people were dedicated to identifying the man who got Lil Jeff. As expected, 2 days following the murder of Bloodhound Jeff, debates on chirology suggested that the shooter was none other than Trap City Rob. This is mostly because Trap City Rob, or it Trap Rob, had been jailed multiple times in the residence where the rounds that put Lil Jeff down were fired dramatically within a short time period. City Rob's images started to see cull at the internet, with the description claiming Lil Jeff's murderer was on the run, and Trap City Rob had been proclaimed wanted. In an interview immediately after the event, Trap City Rob stated his thoughts about the brutality that has eaten into the Chicago drill culture, saying that he opposes the violence but loves the energy. Trap City Rob would go on to say that he has been a rapper on the streets of Chicago but would never use his art to promote any form of violence on the street. He claimed that he is critically conscious of his environment and the factors that subdue it. Never I'm in my, but I understand overall, you know what I'm saying. He then went on to explain that he feels that the violence on the street is a plot against black people to kill themselves. Unfortunately, black people are falling for it. However, he will not fall victim to the violence. He said that most black people are underdeveloped and lack the emotional intelligence to understand that the violence popularized through drill music is a plot against black people. The black man is very underdeveloped and undereducated in America, bro. Who not me? No, listen, bro, when it come to emotional intelligence, reasoning, people getting shot over shoes, and that's not being emotionally intelligent. Unfortunately, not all Chicago rappers share Rob's perspective. Probably when Rob was acquiring all this knowledge about consciousness and black culture, Lil Jeff was out there doing the opposite. For instance, take a look at Lil Jeff versus homeless dude. A video circulating the internet shows Lil Jeff's controversial interaction with a homeless dude on the street. The footage generated a lot of reactions from fans, and I will tell you why. I call me some action. Yeah, what up, Joe? How you coming? You ever seen one of these? You think you can run from this? Get your ass back. What did I just watch? Was my reaction when I first saw this video. It started off like a joke. I thought Lil Jeff was going to show the homeless dude some love. Maybe he was trying to give back to the street or something. However, all of a sudden Lil Jeff pulled out his blick and started threatening the guy unprovoked. I bet the homeless dude thought he was being called to some treat when he heard "What up, Joe?" He then started pacing to the car until Lil Jeff switched to this. The legal implications of using music and videos as evidence sparked debates about artistic freedom and the boundaries of self-expression. While some argued that lyrics and visuals were merely forms of creative storytelling, others contended that they could serve as confessions or incitements to violence. This tension highlighted the challenges faced by law enforcement in balancing the need for evidence with respect for artistic rights. In today's digital age, social media plays a pivotal role in shaping perceptions and influencing behaviors, particularly among the youth. For individuals like Lil Jeff, platforms such as Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube were strong instruments for self-promotion and expression, although they also functioned as conduits for glorifying the gang lifestyle with far-reaching ramifications for naive young audiences. Lil Jeff's online presence was defined by a carefully cultivated image that displayed his membership in the gang world. Via postings and videos, he presented a life of excitement, power, and not variety, frequently promoting his music, gang affiliations, and fights with rivals. The allure of this lifestyle, as presented on social media, often overshadowed the harsh realities of gang involvement. For many youths, the perceived glamour and respect associated with being part of a gang were enticing, leading them to emulate figures like Lil Jeff. His online persona, characterized by bravado and fearlessness, became a template for those seeking to escape their circumstances and gain recognition. However, the glorification of gang culture on social media also contributed to the perpetuation of violence and rivalry. Internet discussions between rival gang members frequently evolved into real-life conflicts, with platforms functioning as virtual battlegrounds for taunting and threats. Lil Jeff's contacts online were no exception, as his posts occasionally elicited responses from enemies, thus fueling the cycle of conflict. Lil Jeff was just 21 when he was Engaged in the drill that lost his life, how did such a lively young guy full of life become involved in violence and crime in Chirac? Lil Jeff and the Gangster Disciple Nation. Before his death, Lil Jeff was affiliated with the Gangster Disciple Nation, a formidable force in Chicago's gang landscape. The group traces its origins back to the late 1950s. It was founded by two influential figures, Larry Hoover Sr. and David Barksdale, who sought to consolidate power and influence in the city's burgeoning and gang scene. The Gangster Disciples arose as a powerful force marked by their particular colors of blue, black, gray, and white, which became associated with their identity. The gang's inception was a reaction to the socioeconomic icy hardships encountered by many African-American neighborhoods in Chicago as the city dealt with issues of poverty, segregation, and restricted chances. The Gangster Disciple Nation provides a feeling of belonging and security to its members. Throughout the decades, the gang extended its reach, becoming a prominent role in the city's illicit operations, including drug trafficking, extortion, and violent conflicts with rival groups. The Gangster Disciple Nation's influence expanded beyond Chicago as it established a network of affiliates across the United States. This expansion solidified its reputation as one of the most powerful and organized gangs in the country. Despite numerous law enforcement efforts to dismantle the gang, its presence remains deeply entrenched in Chicago's neighborhoods, contributing to the city's ongoing struggles with gang violence. Knowing the historical context of the Gangster Disciple country is vital to grasping the milieu in which Lil Jeff found himself. The gang's legacy of power and brutality set the scenario for his engagement and ultimate collapse as he negotiated the hazardous waters of gang life in Chicago. In the center of Chicago, a city popularly referred to as Cho owing to its renowned crime rates, the narrative of Lil Jeff and the Gangster Disciple Nation unfolds. Lil Jeff's path into this risky lifestyle displays a terrifying narrative of power, respect, and the ultimate price of gang involvement. Lil Jeff, born and raised in the difficult districts of Chicago, was a product of his surroundings. From an early age, he was exposed to the harsh realities of life in a city plagued by crime and economic hardship. Growing up in a place where gang culture was strong, Lil Jeff route seemed almost predestined. His family struggled to make ends meet, and the allure of the streets gave a feeling of connection and opportunity that was hard to ignore. As a teenager, Lil Jeff was drawn to the Gangster Disciple Nation, a gang that promised power, respect, and a way out of poverty. The gang's influence was pervasive in his neighborhood, and many of his peers were already involved. For Lil Jeff, joining the Gangster Disciple Nation was not just a choice, but a means of survival. The gang provided him with a feeling of identity and purpose, filling the hole created by a lack of strong role models and possibilities. Lil Jeff's charisma and drive rapidly drew the eye of the gang's leaders. He was anxious to prove himself and earn his spot among the ranks. His involvement with the Gangster Disciple Nation deepened as he participated in various gang activities, from petty crimes to more serious offenses. The gang became his family, offering him protection and a sense of belonging that he had never experienced before. Despite the dangers and risks associated with gang life, Lil Jeff embraced his new identity with fervor. He was determined to rise through the ranks and make a name for himself within the Gangster Disciple Nation. One way he expressed his love for the thug life was through his drill music. The genre's aggressive beats and gritty lyrics mirrored his own experiences and provided an outlet for his emotions and frustrations. As a member of the Gangster Disciple Nation, Lil Jeff's involvement in drill music was both a form of expression and a means of solidifying his reputation within the gang. His music captured the attention of his peers and quickly gained traction on social media platforms where drill artists often shared their work. Lil Jeff's tracks were apologetically honest, detailing the violence and struggles he faced daily. His lyrics often referenced real-life events and rivalries, blurring the lines between art and reality. This authenticity resonated with listeners, earning him a loyal following and establishing him as a rising star in the drill scene. The footage shows Lil Jeff alongside Q50 and some dudes flexing guns and vibing on live Instagram. Although there's a loud noise in the background, you can hear Lil Jeff say that he is now counting his toes. Damn, I actually respect that use of metaphor, because if you count past your fingers, then you have counted more than 10, and if you have more to count, then you start to count your toes. Also, Lil Jeff was trying to say that he has dropped more bodies than his fingers, but in case you don't get it, he made it even more clear. 11, you going to be A, and I'm going SC. You're scary ass ahead. As soon as his body count started to go viral on the internet, many people refused to believe the saga, saying Lil Jeff jumped off the porch at the age of 18 and how it's impossible to have many bodies within a short time on the street. But here's the thing, if the dude said he did, then he did it. While fans were trying to identify his victims, Lil Jeff continued to brag about his body counts. He even insinuated that he has more bodies than Bill Russell championship rings wins. He said, "If I catch one more, I'm like Bill Russell, you know, I really play ball. Don't take this as a joke," because while I was researching Lil Jeff's body counts, I came across this post in the Cherify subreddit alleging that Lil Jeff dropped bodies in Milwaukee. Word on the street was that Lil Jeff was respected in Milwaukee because he was paid to kill 2 people. Come to think of it, is that why Lil Jeff molded his persona after the Milwaukee serial killer Jeffrey Dahmer? Lil Jeff Dahmer of Chicago. Drill, that's a moniker suited for his escapades. I remember King Von was also tagged as serial killer, and some people still wonder why Lil Jeff was always being compared to King Von. It was simply because the street saw in Lil Jeff what they saw in King Von. Although some people alleged that Lil Jeff was looking up to King Von and tried to be like him. In an interview, Lil Jeff countered the allegation. Okay, but what about the type of lifestyle that Von led? You know, everybody consider him the top savage of the rack. Was that something you looked up to as a young coming up? It's Chicago, though everybody do what they do. It's a lot of I'm saying that why don't know about CU that _ ain't broadcast, but that's everybody do that. Trust me. Well, it appeared Lil Jeff was speaking in parables too. What did he mean by everyone doing what he does in Chicago? After studying King Von, I learned that this man did not only kill numerous people and boast about their killings, but he matches the definition of a serial murderer as stated by the FBI. According to the FBI, serial murder is the unlawful killing of 2 or more victims by the same offenders in separate events. Interestingly, the rapping hitman claimed he dropped more bodies than King Von. Lil Jeff took snitching to a whole different level when he updated his Instagram with a photo showing new tattoos on his neck area. The tats were designed in the shape of teardrops, each representing a kill. He then captioned the post, "Go do the math. If you know, you know. Damn, Chicago is not for everyone. Young dudes always acting like the police don't exist." Although some people still doubt Lil Jeff's 11 bodies narrative, most fans of the culture believe it. I don't know for sure either, but if the man said he did it, then he did it. I mean, Lil Jeff's escapades leave me no doubt, and I will tell you why. Q50's recent Instagram post shows that Lil Jeff has been on the street long enough to catch bodies, with videos circulating showing that before 2024 Lil Jeff was moving around with ski mask armed to his teeth like a deadly assassin. But really, what happened to Lil Jeff? How did he become this cold like an ice fish? To answer this, we have to go back to when Lil Jeff leaping off the porch. In a previous interview addressing Lil Jeff's lifestyle, the rapper Hitman claimed that he had been on the streets since he reached 18. So around what age did you jump off the porch and began hanging out in the streets? I'm gonna say when I walked outdoors for real, I was like 18. Ty, alright, I just turned like 18 anyway. Bloodhound Lil Jeff revealed that although he jumped off the porch relatively late compared to his peers, he was no stranger to the street because he had an older brother who plugged him in on the cruelty, violence, and lifestyle of the street. But doing that, been seeing my whole life. You what I'm saying? I told you I got an old run, so this ain't nothing new for real. It's the same been seeing. In case you don't know, Lil Jeff's older brother's name is J Boogie. Interestingly, the beef between Drill City and Trap City that ended the lives of young street boys, including Lil Jeff, started with gangsters like J Boogie. Now what you should know is that J Boogie is about the same group as Trap City Rob, the guy who allegedly killed Lil Jeff. And what's most important to note is that back in the day, both Trap City and Drill City boys were cool together in the hood. In the interview by Block to Block on YouTube, Trap City Rob also confirmed that the two hoods used to be cool until the Bloodhound stole their homie's chain, and then everything went south. He stole the chain, bro. He tried like took it. He stole my home chain, WJ. He come back like he got into high, was 12 last, he lost it. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, however, if you have been following the gist, you will see even far deeper than what Rob said was the reason for the beef, at least for Bloodhound Lil Jeff. The dispute began with the murder of his cousin Z Money. Here's the problem: the start of 2022 brought in a fresh personality and sound in the Chicago drill scene bloodhound Lil Jeff. While Lil Jeff ascribed the beginnings of his rap career to his buddy Vert, it was his brutal lyrics and violent videos that garnered him notoriety and reputation in the culture. Lil Jeff was eager to rap out the violence in him and to make it known to the street that he was a gangster. He once rapped about his mom, saying she told him every day that she prays I make it home, and he told her that it's okay, he was the one doing all the killing. However, when he realized how cold his rap lyrics were, he quickly flipped and announced that it was all a joke and just music, it was all fake. But that's not even the point. One thing to note was that particular track was a tribute to his brother J Boogie, who was locked up behind bars. Now here's the thing with J Boogie and in jail, Lil Jeff's cousin Z Money stepped in and started playing the role of an elder brother to Lil Jeff. He helped do his dirty work for him. He gave him the spotlight while against former friends. After a brutal betrayal shatters alliances in his community, Lil Jeff would partner with some of Chalk's most savage steppers in a story that ends in tragedy. Although Lil Jeff met his brutal death as expected quite early in life, his friends and the entire Bloodhounds continued to seek retribution and get justice for their loss. If you enjoyed this video, click the card showing on your screen for more videos.